Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, I'm going to be taking a look at the Nioh, I believe Nioh, apologize for not saying the name correctly, Nioh collection for the PlayStation, for the PS5 though. And I also want to give my thoughts on the movie Jurassic World Domination that I just saw in the theaters though. It's just worth pointing out, Nioh 1 and Nioh 2 are also available on the PS4 and PC via Steam. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage, I'll have a link down in the description down below, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And for parents out there, it's worth pointing out that both Nioh 1 and 2, or the Nioh collection, are rated M for mature audiences only, ages 17 and up, by the ESRB rating system though. In 2017, Koei Tecmo, along with Team Ninja, released basically Nioh, an exclusive to the PlayStation 4 though. Basically, this game was sort of Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja's take on the whole Souls-like genre, which up to this point has been dominated by basically, From Software and Bandai Namco with their Dark Souls series, to be exact though. This would follow up with basically, I believe 2019 though, of Nioh 2, which would act as sort of a prequel to the events of Nioh 1. Both games I played on the PS4 and they were really good though. To me, the games gave off a little bit of that Onimushia vibe to the game, which certainly wasn't necessarily a bad thing. And they did shake certain things up with the gameplay, with having different stance, high, medium, and low, and so forth, but it was still a Souls game nevertheless. That said, it was still an enjoyable Souls game, and it still holds out as one of my all-time favorite Souls-like games in the Souls-like genre though. Of course, this game came out before Elden Ring came out, which really sort of this year kind of exploded onto the scene though, and really introduced a new audience to the Souls-like universe though. So one of the games that was announced for the PlayStation 5 though was basically the announcement of the Nioh collection, a collection of the first and second one though. And after spending some time with this game, even though it came out last year in 2021 though, I honestly had to say that the Nioh games, or the Nioh collection, still holds up very well from when the games originally came out back during the PS4 era, and to some degree the PC era as well. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons, and we'll start off first with the pros. The first thing I do want to talk about is the gameplay though. Now, the gameplay is very similar to the Souls-like games to a certain degree, but there are some noticeable differences to be exact though. Basically, one of the things is that you do have access to certain stances, high, medium, low. High stance basically does more damage, but it does take up your Kai, or stamina for that matter, and it's also very slow. And if you're not careful, that could leave you open to the enemy to attack you. Medium is sort of more like the well balance between the high and the low one. And low does, I think, less damage, but it doesn't take it up as much Kai and all. And it could come in handy when basically taking on certain enemies, especially if they're crawling to the ground though. And of course, you have different varieties of weapons to choose from to fit the kind of playstyle that works for you the best. For me though, I went with basically the blade, the sword to be exact, basically perfect for close encounters, to the spear, which can come in handy to reach enemies from a certain distance though. And in Nioh 2 though, there are more varieties of weapons to choose from, plus you also have the ability to use different kind of Oni and Yokai powers against your adversary and all. But either way, the gameplay for both Nioh 1 and Nioh 2 follows very closely to the Souls-like formula, where if you die, you lose your souls and you have to go back and get them, to be exact. And the enemies can be tough though, but as long as you know their pattern, know when to strike and when to hit though, you should be just fine and all. Plus, given the Onimushia style to the game though, it has that little bit of a vibe to it, to be exact though. So basically, though, if you're a fan of those type of games, you'll enjoy, if you like those type of games, you'll probably enjoy them, to be exact though. The next one I want to talk about is how it runs on the PS5. And I will say, For it though, the Nioh collection though, it runs pretty well, and a lot of it has to do with the SSD. In the PS4 version, the game took a little bit of some time to load, especially if you die or anything like that. But in the PS5 though, the game loads up very quickly. So you're into the gameplay at an early start. To be exact though, thanks to the SSD and all. So even if you die, you'll be able to load right back in. You don't have to wait like maybe a minute or so or even more for the game to load in. So that's certainly nice of how the game runs in the PS5. Plus all the content is in the game though, so it certainly is a plus on that part as well. So certainly nice that they added all the DLCs, all the cosmetics and the content there, and the game runs very well on the PS5 though. And last but not least, and this one more has to do with the physical buyers on this one though, and that is basically for those who are buying the game physically though, you do get 2 discs to be exact though. Basically you have Nioh 1 and Nioh 2 for those who have buying the physical version. This is definitely nice, and I'm glad Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja did that. It's different compared to what Sony and Insomniac did with Miles Morales Spider-Man though, where basically you had basically the where you had Miles Morales Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Remastered. The only downside is with Spider-Man Remastered, you only got a download code though. You didn't have like a physical version compared to what the Nioh collection is. And I have to say, I prefer that approach for those who are planning to get the who opt for the physical version rather than the version that basically is what Koei Tecmo is doing, what basically what Sony and Insomniac did with Miles Morales Spider-Man. So from a physical buyer standpoint though, I like the approach that Koei Tecmo did. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 2, and that will be the cons plus my thoughts on Jurassic World Domination. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my video review of the Nioh collection for the PS5. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And there are really only 3 cons I could think of in terms of with my time with the Nioh collection though. The first one has to do with the graphical options available in the Nioh collection, at least for the PlayStation 5. Now, when the games originally came out on the PlayStation 4, you had the choice of either playing the game as either in having a higher frame rate but lower resolution, or a higher resolution but a lower frame rate, which was certainly not a bad option to have, as it gives players a choice of what style they prefer though. I personally prefer having the higher frame rate over the higher resolution, but that is my preference and my take on that one. And while that option is available in the PS5 to a certain degree though. For the Nioh collection though, you do have graphical options. However, a lot of that is based on what kind of TV do you have. So if you have 4K, you have a TV with 4K, you could take advantage of the 4K in the Nioh collection. Or if you have a TV that supports 120 hertz, though, you could support 120 frames per second. But if you don't have any of those, if you have a TV that doesn't have any of those features though, you won't be able to take advantage of it because there's only one graphical option available in that case though. If there is a silver lining to this, the silver lining is that the game still runs at 60 frames per second nevertheless, though, which certainly isn't a bad thing. But still, the fact that while there is graphical options are available for this game though, it really boils down to what kind of TV you have and where your PS5, what TV your PS5 is hooked up to though. The next thing I do want to talk about is the haptic feedback though. Now, one of the features that the PS5 DualSense controller advertised was basically this feature where you could hold down like with the triggers on the DualSense controller to get sort of the feel of certain things, like the haptic feedback and all that stuff. And while that is a nice feature, one of the things I said I wasn't sure how many developers were going to take advantage of this feature. And for some reason, I feel that the Nioh collection is one of those games, to be exact, though. While it's not a big deal, at least for me, though, I just don't feel the haptic, I just don't really feel the haptic feedback in the Nioh collection, though. Again, that's not a bad thing, though. I wasn't bothered with that. The haptic feedback wasn't there in the Nioh collection, just like I just played the game just like I was when I played it on the DualShock 4 controller, though. So it's not something I'm losing sleep over, though, but it is a little unfortunate that they didn't get a chance to take advantage of the haptic feedback or anything like that. Does it ruin the game? No, it doesn't really ruin the game or anything like that, though, but it is a little unfortunate that at least based on my time with the game, though, I didn't really feel any haptic feedback or anything in it, though. And last but not least, though, there is basically no brand spanking new content or anything like that in the Nioh collection. What you're basically getting is the game with all of its DLCs and stuff, though, which is certainly great for those who may have not picked up the game or anything like that. But there is no like new content. There's no, if you're going in expecting that there's going to be a difficulty option, like in games like Jedi Fallen Order or Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin had, you're not going to find that here, though. The game is basically all the DLCs. That's it, though. So don't expect any brand new content or anything like that, though. Overall, I would say I still enjoy the Nioh collection, and it's still one I definitely recommend, but to some degree at the same time, I do put it in the cautious recommendation category, though. At its best, though, the gameplay is still enjoyable, even though it's a Souls-like game, though. It still has that Onimushia vibe to the game, though. The game definitely runs very well on the PS5 thanks to the SSD, and the fact that you're getting all of the content in the Nioh collection certainly isn't a bad thing. On top of that, for those who are planning to get the physical version, though, or those who are thinking about getting the physical version, you're basically getting 2 discs, though, instead of just 1 disc, and the other game you download. I'm looking at you, Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS5. So it's certainly, at its best, that is definitely good. But at its worst, though, is the graphical options aren't exactly perfect, though. I mean, they're great that they're there, but a lot of it will depend on what kind of TV you have, though. The haptic feedback, to me, was like almost non-existent in the game, though. And there isn't really any new content for those who are hoping, like a director's cut or like a level that may have not been in the original game or anything like that. But either way, the game is still enjoyable even after all these years. It still remains one of my favorite Souls-like games out there, and it's definitely one I would recommend, especially for those who have just played Elden Ring this year and enjoy these type of Souls-like games and want to look for another Souls-like game to play, though. The Nioh collection is definitely one I would recommend, especially if you have a PS5. Or basically, if you're a PC gamer and you prefer that approach, though. As far as whether it's worth getting the PS5 Nioh collection, that really depends on several factors. If you already own it on the PS4, though, you could play it on the PS5, although it supposedly will be based off the PS4 Pro version, though. If you have it on PC, though, I can't really see any reason to pick this game up, especially if you already have it on PC. I would only recommend the PS5 for those who've never played this game before and basically have a PlayStation 5. But either way, regardless if you get it on PC or the PS5, though, the Nioh collection is definitely worth your time and money, especially for those who enjoyed Elden Ring and are looking for a brand new Souls-like game to play. Okay, before I end this video, I want to give my thoughts on the movie Jurassic World Domination, supposedly the third and final entry in the Jurassic franchise, as far as I'm aware of. Now, the series saw a revival in 2015 with Jurassic World, which then later followed up with the sequel, Fallen Kingdom, and now we're here in the third one where basically the dinosaurs are no longer confined to the park or the island, and now are spread all over the world and everything like that. And supposedly humans are trying to coexist with these dinosaurs and everything like that. And I will say, as far as the plot goes, I mean, it's not going to reinvent the wheel or anything like that, but it is enjoyable though. There are some sequences that came off as a little bit, you know, like a spy thriller, which some may or may not like though. But then there are times when some of the scenes comes off with paying homage to the first Jurassic Park movie back in like 93 and 94 though, which is a classic no matter how you look at it though. And I do like those moments, especially when you see the original cast, including, you know, Jeff Goldblum's character as well. I mean, it's nice to see these characters return, along with basically the cast from the Jurassic World series though. So I mean, there are certainly some high moments though. Seeing the dinosaurs again look impressive and all that stuff. But I will say one disappointment is that I didn't get to see a lot of, you know, you don't get that kind of suspense or shock value, not like how you had with the first Jurassic Park movie to begin with. So I will say that the story still is enjoyable though, especially for those who are fans of the Jurassic Park series though, and it's very nice to see some of the original cast return and all that stuff though. The movie may not appeal to everybody, but if you enjoyed the Jurassic World movies, you'll probably enjoy this one though. And while I definitely enjoy this movie though, I will say it will never ever overtake the original Jurassic Park movie. That's like in a league of its own, and that's like one big giant hill to climb though. But I would recommend this one for those who enjoyed the Jurassic World one. I definitely like how there's some nostalgic and a throwback to the original Jurassic Park and all that stuff, and it's nice to see the original cast team up with the new cast and everything like that. So it's definitely one to take a look at, especially if you enjoyed the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movies though. Okay, this concludes this video review of Nioh Collection and my thoughts on the Jurassic World Domination. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the Nioh Collection though? Do you think it's worth picking up on the PS5? Do you think if you'd rather just pick up the PS4 versions of playing on the PS5? Are you going to stick with the PC version instead? And what are your thoughts about Jurassic World Domination? Do you think this was a good way to finish off the trilogy though? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, wish you all a good day then. Bye.